Okay, welcome back, everyone. Tonight's show, we have Jotham Joubert. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks to yourself, Dom.
Known affectionately by his fans and followers as JJ. Mate, how have you been?
I've been pretty good yourself.
Yeah, good, good. I started watching your videos, I think the first one you ever made.
Yeah, right. So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. You really helped me in my progression, so thanks so much for that.
I'm very happy to hear that. It makes me happy.
Mate, could you give everyone a quick intro? Just let us know who you are, where you're from, what you do.
So yeah, like you said, I'm Jotham, or most people know me as JJ, or the Southeast Queensland Shooters guy. So I'm actually from Redcliffe at the moment. So I work as a clinical psychologist up here. And yeah, Brisbane based.
Okay, how long have you been shooting and what disciplines?
So I've been shooting for most of my life. I was born in South Africa, so born around firearms and stuff like that. I got my first rifle was an air rifle, a little 17 caliber single shot, and probably put 20,000 rounds through that from the age of 6 up until 12. Yeah, I shot that thing a lot. So I've been shooting for most of my life, but yeah, NRL 22 or the PRS kind of stuff, that's my main discipline. I think I've done that now since about 2019 or 2020, lose
Yeah.
track. And then I've dabbled with a bit of IPSC or just pistol stuff as well.
Oh, God, we'll have to get you out of that.
Yeah.
Mate, how was your nationals?
Nationals match this year, it was good. I didn't perform as well as I would have liked to. I had a couple of really rough stages. I think I came 11th in the nationals match. I think so. So correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I had some issues just shooting out to distance. I had no real dope on my gun. So anything at like 200 yard ish, I was just guessing. It's really hard. And I think the range was pretty tough to get, good visuals on what's happening down range at that distance as well. But yeah, so I felt like my long game let me down there a little bit, but 11th, I was pretty happy with it. I had a lot of fun. You guys hosted a really great match.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Where'd you finish
Mm.
for the year? Did you have you checked?
I think also 11th.
Yeah, right. These
Yeah.
are old questions. I'm going to have to revise them. It's just I'm trying to do the same for everyone when they come on.
Yeah. No, it's good. I think 11th, which was all right. I had pretty average a couple of months last year. I had a couple of pretty rough matches and bit of a off couple of matches, but pretty happy with that finish overall.
Yeah, no, that's respectable. That's
Yeah.
um, how normally do you train? Have you got any particular training methods you can explain to everyone? You're
Yeah,
smiling.
so I saw that question and I actually laughed at it because so two years ago before we went to the States, before the Missouri match in the States, I was training quite a lot because that's just when I got my voodoo as well. So the month and a half leading up to that like departure, I was training like every weekend. So I'd go out to the range and I'd do a lot of positional stuff. So I had this little aluminium ladder I would just take with me and I would just run up and down that ladder until I was gassed and I got my heart rate up. So I tried to just do a lot of positional stuff. And I also tried to just be a lot more proficient with my movements and try and use my time better. So I was training quite a lot leading up to that, but that was the last intensive bit of training I've done to date. Unfortunately, I think my training's really dropped off and it's been something I want to get back into. And I think I've just made excuses saying I'm a bit time poor, but since that national international match, I've probably had three, if I'm lucky, training sessions in the last 2 years. So I haven't really done much training other than just going to the monthly matches and doing a bit of warm up shooting before the match.
You've been injured as well, so that wouldn't have helped any sort of.
No, so it's kind of put a bit of a spanner in the works. Broken foot and my wrist is at least fine now. But yeah, I guess for those people that aren't aware, yeah, I had a motorbike accident 7 weeks ago today, and yeah, I had a foot broken and my wrist pretty badly sprained. So that's kind of gotten in the way of me making it to the range in the last 2 months.
How much longer until you reckon you can get to the range?
So I had the surgery on my foot last week on Thursday. So my surgeon wants me to have at least 2 weeks of no weight bearing. So that goes, the next 2 weeks is gone. And then from there, I think it'll be limited weight bearing. So I don't think I'll be shooting next month's or this month's. Yeah, it's next month, sorry. Yeah, next month's match. I don't think I'll make it to that, but I'm hoping for the one after.
Best of luck with that.
Well, thank you.
You'll do more videos then too, will you?
Yeah, so I've been pretty slack with that. Yeah, I haven't made it out, so I haven't had any content to film, but yeah, I'll definitely get back and upload some videos.
It's not hard to fall behind with the content making. This is all
Yeah,
very new to me, and I have been banking videos up.
yeah. No, you're doing a great job. I definitely like watching your channel every Friday.
Thank you.
Makes it a nice end to the week.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
That's impressive coming from you. Thank you very much. Um, so for the lead up to the nationals, you did change it up a little bit. You got little bit more intense.
Yeah.
Do you think that
That's
helped you?
8 years ago now. Yeah, it definitely helped. I definitely felt myself, yeah, become a lot better with using my time. My transitions got a lot smoother. It was really good to just feel myself progress so rapidly with that intensive training period. But I've really let things fall by the wayside in the last probably 2 years. And that's definitely a goal for me coming back to at least once a month get out and do some training.
I find this a common theme because I'm asking the
Mm.
same questions. I'm getting a
Yeah,
lot of the same answers. I think the guys that really hooked in 2 years ago positionally and
yeah,
worked out their positions, I think it held them in good stead.
yeah. I think this is the thing is like you put in hard work and then you get to a certain level or you catch up with the pack, right? And then you kind of feel like your hard work is paid off and you get a bit complacent. But the guys who are like, practicing and shooting a lot of matches, is like I found myself struggling to keep up with them. It's like, whatever talent you banked up from all that practice you did and all the experience you've accumulated, that only takes you so far. And if you want to still hang with the top guys, you definitely have to get more rounds downrange and a lot more practice on the range.
Stay polished.
That definitely,
I
yeah,
had, I'm in the same boat. I had I don't know, probably a 10-month break with work and a few other things, and then went back to my local club and holy moly, everyone has just gone to that next level.
yeah. It's a like there's a South African golfer called Ernie Els, and he's got this quote. It says, "The more you practice, the luckier you get."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think it's quite true. The more you practice, you kind of make your own luck. You just become so much more proficient without even knowing it, and you just kind of do things from muscle memory, and all of that stuff pays dividends. It all adds up in those key moments, or with those really tricky positional shots.
Yeah, I really believe in that.
Yeah,
I think when you sort of get to that level, it seems easier to a lot of people, but you
yep,
know yourself the work you've put in the background.
yep. And I think there's a bit of match fitness as well. I feel like the more
Yeah,
matches you shoot, you become kind of like inoculated to that like pre-match nerves and like that first stage jitters. I remember 2 years ago in the States, the first stage I shot was out of this like little van thing. And I remember at the end of that match, I was shaking uncontrollably. My hands were just going all over the show. So if I had a trigger cam back then, it would have just looked pure chaotic, I reckon. But yeah, it's like the more matches you do shoot, like, the less you find yourself having those pre-match jitters. Like I can't really remember the nationals match in COFs this year. I don't think I was really that nervous or that jittery after the first stage. So, you do get in the habit of that, and that definitely makes you a better shooter from, earlier on in the match, I think.
yeah. Being a competitor, there's a lots of different parts to being a competitor.
Yeah.
You would be fairly seasoned now, however. You'd be one of our, how would I put this? One of the top 10 seasoned guys, like in that we've got here now locally.
That's it. I'll take it as a compliment for sure.
I mean, with your travel, so what have you done? You've done one or two overseas?
I've done the two US trips, not the
Yep,
one this year. I did last year and the year before that.
yep,
And then I've just done the nationals match with you guys at COFs this year.
yep.
Tried
Sure.
to make it consistent, like shoot the monthly matches. I think I shot all of them last year. Um, I think so, but yeah, try and shoot those monthly ones when you
Yeah.
can.
What gun, scope, chassis? What's your rig?
Yep, behind me I've got my Voodoo 360. It's chambered in the Voodoo Ace barrel. It's the 22-inch MTU contour. It's in the MDT ACC Gen 1 chassis. I've got a Carles K525i DLR sitting on top of it in a spur mount. And the bipod is MDT SkyPod. I think it's the PRS SkyPod. And then, of course, got the trigger cam on the top. And then a ton of weights in the front to balance it out because that trigger cam's heavy.
And the last time we met, you were telling me that you're probably going to leave your trigger cam on because you've just got so used to using that. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I think I'll leave it on because I've got the rifle all the way down the front of the gun now, and I'm kind of like just want to set it and forget it. So yeah, it doesn't bother me too much, but I kind of did notice in some low light matches, like matches you're shooting at nighttime, the trigger cam does take, quite a bit of optical clarity out of your sight, which you don't really notice during the day because the colors is a really clear scope. It's got excellent glass on it, but those low light matches, I definitely did find myself struggling to see some of the targets.
Really?
Yeah, so it takes I think they say about 30 to 40% of your light transmission.
Yeah, right. What ammo does it like?
So the ammo it really likes, it shoots the Lapua Centro X's pretty well, shoots the Ely matches pretty well, but I think the 10Xs are the ammo that it shoots the best. It's just a little bit finicky with the feeding sometimes, but it definitely likes the Ely 10Xs the best. And currently I shoot the matches. Seems to be a pretty good budget-friendly ammo for, for the 100-yard monthly matches.
Yep. How's availability going for you guys down there?
Oh, it's pretty good. So I live like 5 minute walk from Cleaver, which is really convenient. So, sometimes I'll just stroll down there, and if you go down there enough, they'll have something in there for you. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I find ammo availability is usually pretty good with either the Center X's or the Ely matches.
Okay. What's your barricade bag preference?
So yeah, I've got a bit of a sponsorship with their Redacted Actual, and they've been awesome. They've given me a bunch of their, high quality gear. So I think it's the comp bag. It's a small cookie bag.
Yeah.
So that's my main bag I use for positional stuff and even just for a rear support bag. But I do use their Arca Rail supported bag as well. And between the two of those ones, that's pretty much my go-to bags.
You go to. I've got a few of his shirts. I love them. I love those.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you prefer spotting scopes over binos, and why?
I don't have a preference. I don't have binos myself. I've got a spotting scope. I've got the Vortex. I think it's the Vortex Viper 20 to 60. I do like it, but I find that the field of view is sometimes like too narrow because it's got quite a lot of zoom down it. So, in some of those targets that's far apart, you have to scan them.
Yep.
And I think for a courser fire like that, binos would be quite good. But I do like the spotting scope for like smaller targets at distance where maybe or the target doesn't move so much. You really have to, make your calls based on visual confirmation. And I find for that the spotting scope gives you quite a high resolution image at that distance. And so I think it's different horses for different courses. I think binos probably for most application, but I think the spotting scopes have their place as well.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that too.
Yeah.
What is your greatest NRL 22 achievement to date?
For me, the best one was so the first match after the Nationals match last year's national match was the I didn't perform so well there. I think I placed 20th and I was pretty down on myself, and I was, having a couple of like bad habits. Like I would use my magnification quite excessively. I wouldn't use the holdovers. I just dull for every range. And I was using all of the different bags I got. So I had like 3 different bags at the time, and I was using all the different bags at the same time. So it's just too many moving bits, and I was just using up way too much time to, zoom in, zoom out, and do the magnification stuff. So after that match, I kind of like sat down and I looked at the match, and I was like, look, I'm fiddling around with a lot of equipment. I'm chewing up time. I'm not finding my targets, and I was just it was a disaster of a match for me, I felt. So I sat down with myself and I was like, look, I'm going to commit to never repeating these mistakes again because like, people have commented to me, it's like you dial a lot or you zoom a lot. And I'm always like, I'm getting away with it. So why would I change it? I was getting away with it up until that Nationals match where I wasn't getting away with it anymore. So I was like, in order to grow as a shooter, I have to, trust my skill. Like, I have to trust my holdovers. I have to practice shooting with less magnification. And I wanted to keep it simple, just shooting with a single bag. So the very next match, I told myself that even if I placed last, I'm going to at least not repeat the same mistakes I was making at Nationals. So I was holding over for everything, and I wasn't using my magnification, and I only committed to using one bag, and I managed to shoot that match and not miss a single shot. So the very next match, which was the week after that Nationals match, I cleared the match, and I was quite happy with that result. So I was the first Australian to do that, and I think that was my biggest achievement because I kind of let myself, just try and focus on my objective, which was, to improve as a shooter, even if it means I'm coming last. And it paid dividends in that match. So it's really happy with that. But other than that, the 2 trips to the States has definitely been highlights of my shooting career so far.
I'm so excited to see you at your next first match.
Yeah, I'm a bit scared for that, to be honest.
Don't be scared.
You know, the pulling out the rifle behind me tonight it's the first time I've touched my rifle in like 2 months or more than it. So the gun's just been in the case for that amount of time. So I'm a bit nervous for it.
How do you clean? What's your cleaning regime?
So yeah, I clean my rifle the same after every single time I shoot it. So every time I pick up the rifle, it's in the same condition. So what I'll do is I love the optics, the spur scope release. I just take that off. I'll clean the optics every single time. I'll clean my barrel. So what I do with that is, I usually soak a mop in a bit of gun lube. Like I think I've got hops number 9 or something. I'll soak that and I'll just let it sit in the chamber. To try and get that carbon ring to soften up. Let that sit for a little bit, wipe the whole gun down with an oil rag, and then I'll run a wet mop just through the barrel a couple of times, and then I'll use a dry mop to just dry it out and clean it out further. So that's kind of my basic training, my cleaning regime, and it seems to keep the gun in good order.
And that has worked for you.
Yeah, so just clean it every single time and keep it in the same condition every time I pick it up. So I'm probably a bit OCD with that, but yeah, it's what works for me.
I don't think that hurts. I,
No.
I think you got to make a decision when I'm going to clean.
Yep.
I got lost in round counts there for a while, and I just went, "Oh, stop! Just make a decision and stick to it."
Yep. So I just do it every time I take it out. Unless it's like a 2-day match. I didn't clean it over the 2-day match for the coughs, but
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you wish you knew at the start of your journey, in your NRL 22 journey, that you know now?
Yeah. There's a couple of things. I like to just keep it simple
Yeah.
because I've also, yeah, like I said to you, I've experienced the drawbacks of overcomplicating things. So it's like the simpler you keep it, the less you have to fiddle around with things during the stage. Usually the smoother it goes. But I think one of the things that one of my good friends, his name's Tristan, he actually said to me the very first time I met him, he said, buy once, cry once. And if you buy cheap, you're gonna, buy twice, and you're gonna cry twice. And I think I've experienced that now over the course of my, time with shooting. I think definitely some of the parts that's worth investing in is, getting good quality glass. So you buy a good optic, and that can last you a lifetime. But that's definitely something I wish I knew from the get-go because, I've bought a bunch of cheap rubbish over the time, and you end up replacing those things, and you end up spending the same, just, probably buying the proper thing first go.
So, what's the best piece of advice you've been given?
Best piece of advice. I don't know if it's anyone that's giving me shooting advice, but it's I don't know where I got this from. But it's a bit of a saying. It's like, don't be upset about results you didn't get for work you didn't do.
Yeah.
It's kind of kept me nice and humble sometimes when I've underperformed in a match. Like I'll sit back and I'll feel upset about it, but then I'll have to, check in with myself. Did I do anything to deserve that result? And is the person who's actually gotten the win today more deserving based on the work that they put in? And it's pretty much always bang on. It's like,
That's golden.
yeah.
That is great. What advice would you give to someone just starting out?
I think it'd be a combination of all 3 of those things. It's like, invest in proper gear. From the get-go. If you're confident that you want to dip your toes in NRL 22 or any form of firearm sports, you may as well invest in the good gear, in the proper gear from the get-go, and just grow into those things. Because if you buy cheap things, again, you'll replace them or you'll grow out of them very rapidly. And then, keeping it simple. Not try and be too flashy, dull for everything. Learn to trust your scope. Learn to trust your holdovers. Don't fiddle around with all the different kinds of equipment. Maybe pick 1 or 2 bags and learn to shoot really well with that. Not try and change things up too much. And then again, yeah, you have to put in the work if you want to get the results, and can't be upset about the results you didn't get for the work you didn't do, right?
True. Where to from now for JJ? What's your next goals?
I do want to, like I said earlier, I want to get back to training. I'd like to at least do just 1 day on the range, just where I get to practice a bit of fundamentals. And I'd like to start competing in the monthly matches. So since I've been kind of out, I've seen a lot more matches pop up, like Imbil, and there's a lot of matches going in Coffs Harbour and things like that. So I'd like to attend maybe like one match every 2 to 3 months outside of my local QMRC match. And then I'd love to, qualify again to head back to the USA or to another international match and, catch up with the guys over there again.
Cool.
That's the goal.
That's cool.
But I first have to get back on my feet. So
Yeah, first things first. Well, look, thanks so much for agreeing to do this. This doesn't happen unless we got people like yourself. Again, thank you for your videos because they help me immeasurably.
Thank you for watching them. Yeah.
You're welcome. All right, mate. Thanks so much for that.
Thank you, Dom. It's been good to be on your channel, and I'm keen to see the final products.
All right, mate. No worries. Thanks, JJ.